How are you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to my channel, where today I'm going to be discussing, does bodybuilding cause body dysmorphia, or does it have a high impact in body dysmorphia on the general population? Now, before I go any further, I like bodybuilding and I appreciate everyone who's right into bodybuilding and who does well, because it is a very disciplined sport and it's obviously the most popular sport in the world when it comes to weightlifting. But I think for a very, very high amount of the population who train bodybuilding or train for hypertrophy only, who train for looks only, it can have a detrimental effect on their mental health. So before I go any further, I would just like to introduce myself. So my name's James, I'm 25, I'm from Scotland, and I've been training for roughly 5.5 years. I've had 2 stints of training, so my first 3.5 to 4 years, it was bodybuilding, hypertrophy focused, and in that time I did experience a high level of body dysmorphia in myself, and as training went on, I really didn't want to train as much. I felt, you know, it just wasn't feeling the same, and when COVID hit and obviously the gym shut, I wasn't really bothered. I couldn't care less, and when the gyms reopened in September 2020, I never went back. I'm not even gonna lie. I just fell out of love with the gym. You know, I didn't want to have that feeling again, and obviously the gym shut again. But when they reopened in April 2021, things happened in my life, and I was like, you know what, I really need to try and get back into it. Everybody was saying how small I was, which I was small. I went down to just under 10 stone, and I'm now 13 stone. So that's it. I'm just under less than a year later since I've been back training, and I'm feeling a lot better. I changed how I trained. You know, I didn't want to train how I did, so I changed to a power building focus. So that's powerlifting with some bodybuilding, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't have any body dysmorphia anymore. I look at myself and I'm happy with how I look. I'm happy with the size I am. I can safely say when I look at myself, I am the size that other people see me as. You know, I look at myself and I go, I'm a decent size. I've got decent body, I've got decent muscle definition, and I'm just happy with how I look. So rapidly, what is body dysmorphia for anybody watching who doesn't know? Body dysmorphia is when you look at yourself and you do not see what you are. So if you've been training and you are getting a lot bigger and you are looking in really good shape, you still see the small self that you used to be, or what it can be is if you came from a high body fat percentage, you still see yourself as the fatter person that you used to be when you're not. And this is so bad for the mental health. You know, you look at yourself and you're just not the person that you think you're becoming when you're training really hard, and that's not what training is about. That's not what health and fitness is about, and that's not what I want anyone to go through. So let's get into the actual topic of the video. Does bodybuilding cause body dysmorphia? And so the reason I'm saying this is, when it comes to bodybuilding, and I'm not talking about your Ronnie Colemans and your Phil Heaths and the people at the top of bodybuilding, I'm talking about regular gym goers who go to the gym, who train for hypertrophy just to get bigger, to look better. So for the average person who just goes to the gym to look better, look, it'll get to a point where you look at yourself and you'll never be satisfied. I was talking to somebody in the gym the other day, this is the reason why I'm making this video, and he was like to me, you'll never be satisfied. And I can fully understand that frame of mind, because I had that frame of mind, but I'm satisfied and I know the feeling of not being satisfied. Look, training just for looks, it is a pretty vain way to look at life, and it is a really superficial way to look at life. It's like, if you're just training for looks and looks alone, it's going to get pretty fucking boring, because when you are just training for looks, there is a high chance that you will end up with body dysmorphia. And that's where I'm trying to say, like, does bodybuilding cause body dysmorphia? Because you've got this absolute massive men, and they'll be like, well, I don't look that good, and I'm like, I know you're trying to be the best and you're comparing yourself to be the best, but where is that limit of, you know, just being happy with yourself, just looking in the mirror and going, I'm truly happy, but I can still work harder, but I'm truly happy with what I see. But when it comes to having body dysmorphia, you aren't happy with what you see. So of course you do put the hard work in, you're grinding, you're grafting, and you're getting better, and you know deep down you're getting better. But unfortunately, when you look in the mirror and when you look at the pictures, you get really down, you get really upset, and it is extremely demotivating in other parts of your life because you devote so much extra time, or in my case, I fell out of love with the gym, but a lot of people devote so much extra time and, you know, they go down the performance enhancing drugs route, which I'm not against, but I would never ever tell anybody, you know, you should take steroids just to look a certain way, because you're messing up your health for your life in 20, 30, 40 years just to look like guys in magazines. Because if you train hard naturally and eat well and sleep well, you will look really good to everyone around you. And if you train a certain way, you can enjoy your time training and you can look good and you can feel you look good, which is the main point. So the last topic I want to go into in this video is I want to cover the different types of weight training you can do that can possibly take your mind away from the body dysmorphia and simply how you look. Because as I've explained, bodybuilding is simply just how you look. You know, obviously you train, but at the end of the day, it's how you look. How you look, how big your shoulders are, how big your legs are, is how you look. So I do power building at the moment, which is powerlifting mixed with bodybuilding, and doing this style of training, it is quite fun, I will say, but that's just personal opinion. But I won't get as strong as I possibly could in as quick amount of time, but I won't get as big as amount I could. But I have that strength component, and when you're talking about strength, you really need to look into technique and programming a lot more than you do for general bodybuilding. And when you look into technique, you look at your lifts every single time you lift. I'll video myself, I'll look, what could I do better? Or I could do that, I could think about that, I could do that. And when I leave the gym, I go and I watch the videos and I go, right, I can do that better, I can do that better, and I can do that better. And there's specific ways that you can do all the things better. You know, if you see yourself forward leaning in a squat, you look up why is forward leaning in a squat bad, how can I fix it, and you do it, and it takes your mind away from how you look from that after that session. And again, there's obviously not just powerlifting, there's Olympic weightlifting, which is the most technical weightlifting sport out there, and they seriously critique their technique every single training session. You know, they do so many different styles of training just for the one lift, or just for the two lifts, the clean and jerk and the snatch. And you know, they train 6 days a week just specifically for the two lifts, because they're so dialed in to their technique and their focus that they could not care how they look. All they want to do is lift a higher amount of weight on the two lifts. So another thing you could say is, well, will you not think about the weights you're lifting too much? Well, no, because, well, technically yes, but in my personal opinion, no, because there is a specific way to get stronger, and there's a specific techniques that you need to follow to not injure yourself. Because if you use wrong technique, you will injure yourself the stronger you get, and that is just how life works. So you need to work around injury and you need to work around technique. So my main point in this video is not trying to diss bodybuilding, it's trying to get people to understand that if you maybe go and try other types of weight training that involve more thinking and more of your brain power for you to actually learn technique, that, you know, you'll start training for a different purpose other than just looking good. And obviously, see if you're not trained, you're going to go in and you're just going to try and look good. But as your training increases and as you enjoy it more, you know, training for a different purpose and that other than just looking good is severely good for your mental health up here. So obviously that was my first YouTube video. People who make YouTube videos and just talk the full way through without any cuts are severely underrated, because that shit is hard. Look, at the end of the day, this video is not to diss bodybuilding. People who do bodybuilding who have insane physiques, you know, they have a different level of discipline, and I applaud them severely. And bodybuilding, look, it is quite fun, I'll not lie, and that is really good, because so many people just sit on their arse on the couch, and that's not what we want to be doing. Look, if you have a different opinion from me, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to talk about it. I love talking about health, fitness, weight training. It is just amazing to talk about, to be honest, especially with people who have different outlooks and different training techniques. because you can add that to your own and really enhance your experience of being in the gym. So I appreciate anybody who watched this video, and if you want to leave a comment down below explaining your opinion on it, I would love to hear from you, and if you could leave a little like in the video, I'd appreciate that. Thank you so much. Peace.